This is Kerrigan & Company. Did you know that more than 90% of cyber attacks can be prevented? Focus Technology helps organizations create a cybersecurity framework to minimize your risk of being attacked. Let Focus Technology's certified team conduct an assessment to determine where the gaps are in your organization, no matter how big or small your company is. Utilizing the industry's best tools, Focus Technology's security operations team will monitor and stop bad actors before it's too late. Contact Focus Technology today at focustsi.com and secure your company's most valuable assets. That's focustsi.com. A&B Burger in Beverly and A&B Kitchen and Bar in Boston are redefining guest expectations of a casual restaurant. Both A&B restaurant locations are focused on hospitality, creative menus, and delicious food and drinks. Now, I've been to both restaurants many times and loved everything I've tried. Get to A&B Burger on Cabot Street in Beverly or head across the street from our studio at the TD Garden to A&B Kitchen and Bar in Boston today and experience the A&B difference yourself. I promise you're going to love it. Kim Kerrigan here. Keeping me company this week is a guy who can tell you this week's best pop song and Boston's best restaurant. This is Kerrigan & Company.
Kerrigan & Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan & Company is here for you.
Welcome, everybody, to Kerrigan & Company. Great to have you with us, and I'm really excited about this edition. Of course, brought to us by A&B Burger, our good friends. They have a third location, by the way. You'll want to check it out. It's over there by Fenway Park. Very exciting. And I'm very excited to have my co-host today because he and I have known each other for a long time. I never want to say how long because that ages all of us. Billy Costa from Kiss 108 is with me today. You're the hardest working man in show business.
Oh, I don't know. You're not doing too badly yourself. But yeah, well, we just got off the air about 10 minutes ago on Kiss, and I rushed over to here. Boy, that traffic in Boston is unpredictable, isn't it?
At what point are we finally going to do something about that, Billy?
I thought we did with the big dig, but that didn't seem to do a whole lot, did it?
I think it dug us even deeper. Yeah. That's all it's done for us, that's for sure.
But these are cool digs you have here.
Thank you so much. It's good to have you. Your son is right behind us here at Card Vault.
This is his company. This is his studio. Like, what are the odds?
I know.
He never invited me in here. But no, Card Vault is doing well. He's got 3 locations. Yeah. I think soon to be more.
I'm going to try to have Chris on sometime soon because people tell me for as much a character as you are, he's just that much more.
Oh, he's got me beat by a long shot.
So, we'll have him dish a little dirt on you when he comes to see us at some point. But it's so good to see you.
You as well?
You know, it's so cool because you Kiss 108, you know, obviously you've been on Kiss 108 for a really long time.
Long time.
And you were obviously a part of Maddie in the Morning forever and ever. And now it's Billy and Lisa.
Yeah.
And the first thing I'm going to ask you is just what the dynamic of that is like now. Does it feel really different now that you've sort of moved over one chair?
It definitely takes some adjusting because, you know, when Maddie and I were together, you know, Matt was Matt, and I reacted to everything Matt wanted to talk about and or do. And so when you move one chair down, all of a sudden, other people have to react to what you're thinking and what you're saying. So it's a different role, and it's hard at first, but it gets to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Matt's just relaxing down there in Florida and playing golf every day. So, hey, buddy.
He's earned that, I would say. I think he really did. Those were great years, I know, but this is something really different. It's sort of like you moved into a little bit of a different phase.
A little bit. There's a lot goes into the show. A lot of people don't know the behind the scenes, but you know, I'll get in about 4 a.m. And Justin, my executive producer, is probably in about 15 minutes before me. And then Lisa comes in maybe 15 minutes later, and then the 3 of us just sit down and, you know, we kind of have notes in our head, like during the course of the previous day, what was going on that night. and picking and choosing stories in our little brains that we might want to touch upon the next morning. And then once we get in and we're sitting in the studio, now we're teaming up with Justin, and Justin is finding sound bites and interviews and wacky sound bites that he can accompany the storylines with. So most of the work happens between 4 and 6 o'clock.
Absolutely, before you hit the air.
And then
People
we hit
don't
the
realize
airwaves
that.
and hope everything goes okay.
Yeah, then you just start to throw it against the wall, right? And then you see what happens.
So we know certain directions we want to go in, but we never know what we're going to say.
Yeah, I
which
get
is
that.
kind of cool. And it's challenging, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, and it's also better because then it seems much more genuine when you just start to chat, right? It's not that you two have scripted anything.
And you kind of feel each other. You're kind of knowing what the next person is going to say before they even say it or while they're thinking it. Because that's one of the key things. Well, you co-anchored and anchored and everything, and you have to get a sense of timing. Otherwise, you're all talking over each other and no one's hearing anything you're saying.
Absolutely.
So I think we got a good sense of timing going on now.
Yeah.
So.
I always thought the wild card in radio, and you guys have this going on too, is when you take those calls. Because I know Justin, as your executive producer, probably screens those, but you screen, you put on hold, and then suddenly they're on live.
Yeah, well, now we have this technology. I don't think it's that new anymore. It's called the talkback mic. And that's added a lot to the morning show format because now we have producer Riley who mans the phone, so she's the first voice you hear when you're calling into the show. But Justin is in control of the talkback mics. And on the iHeart app, people can go to the iHeart app and the Billy and Lisa Morning Show, and they just hit a microphone, and they can leave any message they want. So whenever we're asking for calls or asking for input from listeners, they have two options now. Because people's lives and routines have changed a lot in the mornings. So the talkback sometimes makes a lot more sense than the phone call.
Sure.
And it's really good. I like it.
I want to hear the story of how you got started at Kiss 108 because it was a few years ago.
Quite a few, yeah.
And you sort of got in there on a whim, right?
Kind of, sort of. I initially went to Merrimack College on a hockey scholarship and stayed there for a couple of years and then decided, well, I think I'm done with this now. I'm not going to the pros and I'm putting a lot of time in. So I left, took a year off and transferred to Emerson. And now that I don't have the scholarship, I'm working 6-7 jobs to pay my own tuition. One of them was a nightclub DJ. So I ended up DJing in a nightclub. It became like the place to go, and a lot of the radio people would go, and Sonny Joe White, God rest his soul, was the #1 programmer in the country. He was hanging out in the club that I was DJing in. So then I went in one day to have an interview with Sonny. He thought I was coming in to be a jock. When I was coming, I wanted to run the news department. He said, well, we don't have news. I said, no, this is going to be a different kind of news. This will be lifestyle. It'll be entertainment. And I said, you don't have to pay me. I'll do 6 months free. And then if you like it, you can hire me. If not, I'll take it across the street. So I'm still there.
And did you do a full 6 months free? Did you take advantage of that?
Yes, I did. They made sure to the letter. Right. Yeah, absolutely. But it worked
a good
out.
Programmer, right?
Yeah,
Once you hear the
out.
offer, you got to take advantage. All right, Billy, we've got a lot more to talk about, and we're going to talk about it a little later in the show. But before we do, we have a feature. It's called Focus Technology Fast 5. And we ask you 5 questions in 30 seconds, and you have to answer them. Oh. So, Focus Technology Fast 5. Focus Technology is your trusted IT partner for cybersecurity, cloud, and managed services. So, Billy Costa.
Am I going to get scored?
Okay. Your big fear should be if a hook comes out if you don't make it in 30 seconds. All right, here we go. Our Focus Technology Fast 5. TV or radio?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. Radio.
Favorite restaurant in the city?
Oh, again, you're putting me on the spot. Woods Hill Pier 4.
Wow, very good. Favorite celeb you've ever interviewed?
Ooh, favorite would be John Travolta.
John Travolta,
yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, really, really cool guy.
Did you see him in person or was
I met him it was at the original Ritz Hotel in Boston.
Awesome.
The second would be Tom Cruise.
Awesome.
Oh, I didn't have a second, did I?
No, you didn't, but that's all good. Rudest person you've ever interviewed?
Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah. You notice how there was no hesitation? So you got to believe that had to be pretty rude. I had I interviewed her several times because she did our Kiss concert once or twice. But I was out in Los Angeles covering the Grammy Awards, and I was friendly with Bobby Brown. They were together at the time, so Bobby said, "Hey, let's do an interview back to Boston." So we went in the trailer backstage, and in the middle of the interview, Whitney walked in, and she was kind of in a cranky mood, and she basically asked me to leave.
That would be
but
cranky.
Bragging rights. Whitney Houston once threw me out of her trailer.
I've been thrown out by Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Hey, finally, bucket list thing that you haven't had a chance to do on the radio.
I would like to cruise the Mediterranean on my own yacht, which will never happen, but it's a bucket list, right? It's good to have it.
A bucket list is endless, so you can just say whatever you'd like. And that is our Fast Five. Very good. I'm not sure we made it in 30 seconds, but you know what? We didn't because it was my fault. All right, we got lots more with Billy coming up a little later in the show. But first, Billy, I'm so excited. Our guest, Chapel Hart.
Oh, yeah.
This trio of young women, two sisters and a cousin, they are climbing the charts when it comes to country music, and I'm a huge country fan.
As am I.
So excellent. They're going to be with us next. This is Kerrigan and Company. It's baseball season, so are you headed to Fenway anytime soon? If so, you've got to stop by the newest A&B Burger location at Time Out Market, Boston. You can get your favorite burgers at A&B's new quick serve restaurant, which is located at 401 Park Drive. Time Out Market Boston is located in the buzzing Fenway neighborhood, and A&B is the latest and the best restaurant to join this creatively curated dining destination. A trip to Fenway, whether you're headed to a game or maybe you just like the vibe in the area, isn't complete without stopping by A&B Burger at Time Out Market Boston. Head to A&B Burger at Time Out Market Boston's Fenway neighborhood today. You'll be glad you did. Do you know what generative AI is and how your company can ensure employees are more productive? Focus Technology can help you master the use of Microsoft's newest tool, Copilot. This powerful tool can help your team speed up many of their daily tasks by enabling hands-on learning directly with the software. It can summarize long emails, generate drafts of long documents, and search for answers to key questions. Copilot represents a unique opportunity for businesses to accelerate their understanding of what generative AI can deliver for their company. Contact Focus Technology today to learn more at FocusTSI.com and bring your organization into the AI revolution. That's FocusTSI.com. I love clothes, but what I really don't love is when I wear something and then I see somebody else wearing the same outfit. That never happens when I shop at All Chic at 152, my favorite boutique located in Marblehead, Massachusetts. At All Chic, you find unique styles handpicked from Europe, Canada, and the U.S. Whether you're looking for a special occasion dress or a casual weekend outfit, you're going to find it at All Chic. Quality, style, and savings. That's the All Chic at 152 mantra. And I can tell you from personal experience, they live up to it. All Chic at 152, located at 152 Washington Street in Marblehead.
If you like rum, you're going to love Rumson's Rum, New England's most award-winning rum brand. Rumson creates distinctive and savory flavor profiles by hand-selecting and marrying the finest barrel-aged Caribbean rums. The spirits are then blended and finished in the New England Rum House. Choose from Rumson's Gold, Spiced, Grand Reserve, or Coffee Rum, which is smooth and sweet with a warm roasted coffee flavor, a hint of vanilla, and a decadent buttery finish. Find Rumson's at liquor stores or ask for it at your favorite restaurant. Learn more at rumsons.com. That's rumsons.com. Rumsons. Life lived, life enjoyed.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Lucia Lighting and Design, where people in the know go for the best possible lighting and design experience. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company, brought to us by A&B Burger. So good to have you with us for this episode. My good friend Billy Costa keeping me company today. So far, so good, right?
Digging it. So far, so good.
All right. Now, look, you may be on a top 40 station, but you and I are actually country fans.
Big time.
And I am so excited about this next guest. This is really going to be a ton of fun. We want to welcome this group. Their name is Chapel Hart, and I want to introduce them. Now, ladies, I'm going to have you hold your hand up when I say your name. So, Danica, Devin, Okay, those ladies are sisters, and then we've got their cousin, and that's Tree Swindle, and we pretty much know which one by elimination there, Tree, so we've got you down pat.
Yeah, but keeping it in the family.
I know, exactly. Great to see you ladies.
It's so good to see you guys, and thank y'all for having us.
Absolutely. I know you've been asked this 5 million times, and I'm just going to ask you for 5,000,001. Chapel Hart, tell everybody where the name comes from.
So we grew up in Poplarville, Mississippi, and inside of Poplarville, there's a community called Derby. And inside of Derby, there's a smaller community called Hart's Chapel, and that's where our family lives, our home church. And it's kind of where we got our roots. And so when we were trying to come up with the name, our manager actually was the one who suggested Chapel Hart. And we laughed hysterically because we thought that was ridiculous. But then when we were really thinking about it, it was like, you know what? Growing up in Hart's Chapel, cultivated us into the women that we are today. And it just seemed to have fit just right. So we stuck with it. And
also our other manager already started saying, I've got this group Chapel Hart. I was like, we didn't say yes.
And now Chapel Hart is on it's on the world map, so to speak. You've put it on the map. But when you say small, how small is it?
Now, go ahead. Well, so Poplarville, the outer layer of this turducken of cities, Poplarville, it's pretty big landmass wise. Population wise, that's a different story.
Right.
There's it's big and hard. Yeah, it's about
3,000. We got about 3,000 in population. I think it's probably somewhere, I think probably 28 or 29. We just pushed to skip
3,000.
And math, I didn't do math well, but I did do rounding. So I feel like you round on up to 3,000 and give us that big boost.
Well, I got to tell you, Danica, you may not do math well, but man, you can sing like nobody's business.
Thank the Lord. Let me tell you what.
I taught her everything she knows.
I bet.
Yeah, of course you
Now,
did.
wait a minute. Which one of the two of you is older? Do you mind saying?
Oh, she's definitely older.
Okay, that's the big sister. Okay.
The two of us. You're definitely older. Oh, I thought you pointed at Tree. No, she was pointing at herself. Oh, thank God. I thought she was trying to put it off.
If anybody would like a little sister, I have one for sale, and it is not very expensive.
Well, who's the boss? Who's the boss?
Me, for sure.
Yeah.
The little ones always are. So listen, you guys got your start. Well, you got your start, I think, in church. Would that be fair to say? Okay.
Absolutely.
But I think when you came to the national conscience was when you were on America's Got Talent. And not only have I watched it, but all my family members, I've shown that that clip to so many people, which just made my heart just jump right up into my throat. So you got all of the judges giving you the golden buzzer, and you guys went on to have a really great season there, and that would have been in 22. Since then, I want to understand this. I think we're talking about 2 or 3 albums, appearances at the Grand Ole Opry. You guys have been touring all over everywhere. I mean, this has been a whirlwind, yes?
Yes, it absolutely has, and you're spot on. It seems like immediately after that season finished, like it kind of just took off. Like, a lot of people see us and they say you should have won because we came in 5th place, but 2 days afterwards we did our Grand Ole Opry debut. So I still feel like you can't tell me we weren't the real winners for that season.
We won live,
but and it's crazy because it almost seems like working at it for like a decade-ish. And then having this long laundry list of things you want to accomplish, having this bucket list, and then literally marking most of them off within like a 6-month span. We did the Opry, we played the Ryman, and then we went to Trinidad shortly afterwards, and like have been like back and forth to Europe since, and like it's been a whirlwind is an understatement. This is like a Category 5 hurricane.
Well, I think that sounds like a good agent or a good manager or both, or who's arranging for all this?
we got a small but mighty team, and they work hard. And probably because we annoyed the crap out of them. When are we going to this place? When are we going to that place? When are we going to that?
So they're like, let us away.
Do you think the winner on HET that season is wondering why they don't have as much as you've got going on right now?
Ooh, sometimes people even ask, why y'all play the Opry so much? I'm like,
who was the winner again?
And the real question is, if the Opry calls you, are you going to say no?
Right. No, oh my gosh. It's literally my favorite place in the world.
Well, and that first time you played it, you got 3 standing ovations, which is, unheard of, right? Ladies, what I think is so fascinating about the 3 of you, there's a lot of things, but that you are young women who are really drawn to the roots of country. Now, that's very unusual. So it has to be because of your upbringing.
1,000%, and I think that our for me it started. I always say country music started for me, and I always say you probably couldn't believe this, but I used to talk a lot as a child, and so my mom would be like, she would say, "Kevin, you have got to get this girl to bed. I'm tired." And so my dad broke the Da Vinci Code, and he said he realized that after dinner, if he put me in the car and kind of drive me around Poplarville for a little bit, go to the interstate, come back, I would go to sleep just like that. But we would go on those drives, and he would put on George Jones, and he would put on Kenny Rogers and John Michael Montgomery, and like we would just bump down the road like hillbillies, and we would sing, and that was really. But also he would show me songs, and he would show me the storylines, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
And she's nosy. So
even as a child, I was nosy.
Stories,
so it was the songs that I was falling in love with, and then I would when it came time to do talent shows and all the things, I wanted to go and sing these songs that were my favorite and songs that I would sing with my dad. And like I said, growing up in Poplarville, country music was everywhere. If you were at work, if you were at school, if you were good on the school bus, they said, "Well, turn on the radio if y'all be quiet." And so it was Kicker 108. And so it was always country music. And as Tree so beautifully puts it, it's like, and it was the thing that we identified with. It was, riding tractors and running around barefoot and all the things. And it was like, these were the stories that we were living. And so she said, Tree said, we couldn't really identify with the songs with the big chains and the cars and the rims and we didn't have enough money to have that. So
but sing a song about running down a red dirt road after church. We did that.
You could understand that for sure.
But it seems like this is the era of collaborations. Have you folks thought about any collaborations yet, or any in the works?
Oh, God. Billy.
I hit a nerve.
We are collaboration wannabe junkies. Okay? Well, actually, we are collaboration junkies this year. This year, we're trying to get the collaborations in for sure.
Okay, so give us some names. Come on, drop
we'll make some calls. So who do you want?
Let's go.
What's your bucket list?
We're getting ready to do our very first Christmas album. So when I say we are screaming,
awesome.
If it was up to me, honey, our debut album would have been a Christmas album. But they were like, honey, no, you need to put out some real songs first. And so we're finally getting to do our Christmas album, and we are calling some of our best friends in the industry, some of our favorites. Just like people who were the soundtrack of, the 90s and 2000s.
I know we have like voices of generations, and we have I don't know how we're gonna keep this list secret.
Yeah, Danica can't hold ice water, so I don't know how long we can stay on this topic. But I will say, I just said on our Instagram story, like, it's gonna range from, okay, we could have possibly saw this coming, to, oh my God,
we had no idea, right?
For this business album. Yeah.
Okay, so if you can't drop any names, but who would be someone you'd like to collaborate with?
Okay, Gretchen Wilson. Oh my gosh,
Gretchen
can you imagine
Wilson.
Chapel Hart and Gretchen Wilson on a Christmas song? It'd be one of the toughest Christmas songs you ever heard.
It'd be shopping at Walmart, right? Oh, that's good stuff.
Trisha Yearwood. I think maybe Winona would be a great collaboration for a Christmas record.
Great.
If we can do like a collaboration with Garth, that would be.
My.
Oh,
Cody Johnson.
That's a slam dunk right there, Garth. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ashley McBride. Like
We got Trisha and Garth. Trisha and Garth.
Isn't it crazy? Listen to them though. That they're pulling out Ashley McBride. I mean, you guys, it's just so great. I love that you go back to what I think of when I was a kid, and my dad was a huge country fan, still is, and he still listens to that kind of country. Now I have sort of graduated a bit, but Dad still does, and now you got me running down a dirt road. I want you guys to know. So let me ask you guys real quickly here. I don't think we could talk about country music and women of color and not talk about the fact that Beyonce has dipped her toe into the country world. How do you guys feel about that?
Woo, I think that, I said, I always kind of try to use this analogy. And I said, I believe that country music is for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I think that everybody, if you love country music and you're a musician or you're an artist, hey, give it a shot. But the other side of that coin is that country music fans get to decide what country music is. Mm-hmm. It is them living the experiences that they have lived. It is them being able to connect. I know there's times that I can hear the lick of "He Stopped Loving Her Today" just in the beginning, and my heart goes, oh my gosh.
Actually, your mouth does that too.
Look, yeah. And that's Cree totally saying I'm loud. But it's hearing those songs that you grew up with that that take you back to a certain time, and it
feel it.
It makes the correlation. So I do. So that's why I said I do believe that everybody ought to have an opportunity to try out country music if that's what they desire to do. Mm-hmm. But I do think you got to have the thick skin that when country music fans go, I like this or I don't like this. Mm-hmm. They are the ones who have decided over the last 100 years what country music is, and it's one of those things that it just is what it is. But also on the contrary, I said, if I were to put out a hip hop album, hip hop fans would instantly know this is not hip hop. Because this is not hip hop.
So we're ruling out hip hop.
Yeah. Billy, we've got
we're ready to say goodbye in our career.
We got 3 old souls here.
Oh,
you know that, right? I just love it. I can't believe that you just pulled out "He Stopped Loving Her Today." That's fantastic. That is great. Ladies, look, you are absolute delight. And I'm thrilled for you, and I cannot wait for that Christmas album. I'd be that same person. I would have started at Christmas and then backed into the rest of it, right?
Yeah, you and Mrs. Paul.
Yeah.
Well, and come up to Boston.
Yes. You come to Boston, we'll get you back in here in the studio, and then we'll get you into one of Billy's studios, okay? What do you think?
I'm at iHeartRadio. We have a country station here, 101.7 The Bull.
You know what? We're gonna be in New York during the beginning of our Christmas tour, so we might have to slide
on over to Boston.
All right.
We'll stop by the radio station if y'all promise that we can do drops. I don't know why we like doing drops so much.
I'm telling you what.
I'm your drop guy. I'm the drop guy.
Done. This is why we cannot manage ourselves, because we'll be living on peanuts and
all right. He'll do drops and you'll get me tickets.
There you go.
All right. It's a deal. Chapel Hart. Hey, guys, ladies, thanks. It's been a blast.
Thank y'all for having us.
You bet. Thank you. I mean, it's infectious, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it.
And what I love about it? They are so rooted in what they grew up being, and they don't really want to change that.
They're sticking with it.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you something. I loved their response to the Beyonce thing, because I'm a true country fan, too.
Yeah.
And while I find her music to be fun, I'm not sure that's country music yet. I haven't made that decision, and I don't know if those ladies necessarily think that's country music
and it was
yet
it was like an overnight flip. All of a sudden, she's a cowgirl, and I'm like, okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we got to dish some tea. Do we dish it or do we spill it? We're spilling tea.
We dish the dirt, we spill the tea.
That's exactly, we're doing both.
Okay.
And that's coming up next. This is Kerrigan and Company. I have to tell you, folks, I think lighting in your home is one of the most important things that you can do to keep the house updated. And when I need new lighting, I head to Lucia Lighting and Design. Their spectacular 10,000 square foot showroom inside a beautiful mansion in Lynn, Massachusetts is decorated with both architectural and decorative lighting in every single style. From crystal and traditional to contemporary and modern, the selection is absolutely unmatched. Whenever I'm looking for new lighting, as I mentioned, I head to Lucia Lighting and Design. And when I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for, I rely on the expert guidance of their design team. I know that they can help me. Learn more and book your appointment today. It's lucialighting.com. It's graduation and wedding season, and that means time for a shift in your wardrobe. I know the perfect place to start. How about a trip to Marblehead, Massachusetts for a visit to All Chic at 152? It's a great little boutique filled with all the fashion you need. If you're ready to elevate your style game, look no further than All Chic, where they currently have all the spring and early summer styles you need. From casual chic to elegant ensembles, they've got it all. And I should know, I'm a regular. All Chic at 152, located at 152 Washington Street in Marblehead, open Tuesday through Sunday.
Big Night Studios is now open for all content creators. Are you looking to start a podcast? Looking to expand your brand? Then visit bignightmedia.com. Check out our rates, check out the studio, and see all the podcasts we have to offer. That's bignightmedia.com.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to us by North Shore Music Theater. Get tickets for Jersey Boys playing May 7th through the 19th at nsmt.org. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company, brought to us today by A&B Burger. Just a quick reminder, they've got a third location that's just opened over by Fenway Park. You got to check it out. It's really cool. Billy Costa keeping me company today as my co-host, and we've been having a wonderful morning. We met those fabulous young women from Chapel Hart. And now we've got two ladies here in the studio. They are Boston, they're not Boston homegrown because one is from the Twin Cities but lives in Boston. One is from Boston and now lives in L.A. We are joined by Meredith Lynch and Molly McPherson, and it's nice to see you both.
Wonderful to see both of you.
Yeah, you guys are digital creators. You're also both PR women, which is and comedians. And you have a road show. I'm weaving this all together to understand how this all works. So you guys, kind of fill us in first off on how the two of you partnered together.
It's really like the north end of partnerships. You get in there and you get lost, but you're going to get somewhere. I am by profession a public relations executive. I specialize in crisis communication management. I am a Gen Xer. I found myself on TikTok. Meredith is classic digital creator, pop culture. She's over in Los Angeles now. And as TikTok seems to work, there's always a Venn diagram of how creators will have mutuals. Like we're considered mutuals on TikTok. And the same followers tend to chirp back and forth. And then eventually you meet each other.
Uh-huh. Really?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you knew each other from, college and then you decided
No.
Wow. So how long has this partnership been going on?
Wow, we've been collaborating for about 3 years now, I think, right? Yes. I know, and then we finally met in person about 6 months ago, and it was like we hadn't missed a beat. But I think it really speaks to the way that media is changing, right? And such a good example is you doing this show. Thanks to things like social media, or perhaps unfortunately because of things like social media, we have to be on our A game. And I think Molly is such an example of someone who, when you started in PR, it was the traditional old school, and you are seeing the ways that it's changing and responding to that.
Mm-hmm. And basically what you do a lot of dishing of the dirt.
Yes.
Do you have certain people that tend to take up your time more than others? Like, who are you focused on lately?
Well, I do have one that if I could quit my full-time job, I think I could really get more work done, and that would be Matt Lauer.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Do we have any new stuff on Matt Lauer?
We have new strategy on Matt Lauer. So this is a typical crossover for the two of us. We were doing a live. We're both on Patreon as well. And she was on my Patreon at that time. And there's just a person who will strike a chord. And Meredith had a little Matt Lauer moment. I've been dishing on Matt Lauer for a while because ever since he left NBC, morning news gossip is one of my favorites, and Meredith too. Like, we love it. But with Matt Lauer, he happened to be canceled at a time. It was like one of the last ones where he was done.
Yeah.
And it feels as if Matt, seeing other people come back, he's trying to make that entree back into NBC or somewhere on television.
Do you think it's possible?
I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. And what he's been doing is he's been getting paparazzi shots.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
showing up in places, right?
Yes.
And
Really? I
looking
haven't
good.
seen them because I was wondering, where the hell do you go if you're Matt Lauer?
You're not
the
on my
last several
TikTok.
years?
You got to get on my TikTok. We are.
Yes.
You've shown him he's going to weddings.
Yes.
He's showing up, you know.
He
and
wore a
getting-
very bold suit the first time, and I was like, And then the next time, a little more subdued. I'm like, I got my eye on you.
Yes, and a lot of strategic shots with a girlfriend because he needs now to show that he can be in a relationship.
Right.
He's a man who can be trusted, with women. So these are the strategies that we notice out there.
Wow. So you think he's seeking re-entry?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
In anywhere that he could possibly
See,
land.
my feeling about, I agree with Meredith. He certainly cannot go back to a real news situation. I mean, he cannot sit across from someone and interview them anymore. But we started this whole thing out saying, look how media has changed. I mean, maybe there is a place for a guy who's been accused of the kind of things that Matt Lauer's been accused of. I don't know.
There's some people, though, who cross the Rubicon in terms of behavior. And for Matt, it wasn't as simple as an affair, and I think that's how he wants to position it. But he was in a position of power,
100%.
with producers. And women, a lot of women on TikTok, on social media, they won't have that. So that's why I don't think Matt.
Well,
we don't
there was
think
the
Matt
button
will
under
do
their desk, too. That
Yes.
Yeah, that wasn't
a
great.
lot of attention.
Not great.
Oh, yeah. That.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I will never
Oh, darn.
Don Lemon, on the other hand, is making a comeback.
Yes.
And he is really harnessing social media. And I have to admit, I was a little sick of Don Lemon, but he is playing his cards right. His TikTok is fantastic.
I just saw him out with Bill Maher like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah, he's putting himself in the places where he needs to be.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Well, he's also starting to partner with people you wouldn't anticipate he'd partner with, right? Didn't I just hear recently?
Well, people do that. I mean, the currency in social media is just platform. What is your platform? How many followers do you have? So people will come to you and partner up. I mean, that's how they leverage themselves to get back into the spotlight. And really, social media is the currency. Even though we do have network television, we have local television, certainly, but people want to conquer on social media, and there's so much opportunity out there. So that's why we see them.
Well, since you do Matt Lauer, have you done much with Amy Robot? And oh God.
Yes.
Thank you. You push the button now.
How much time do you two have?
I'm very curious about that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they've got their podcast.
Have you listened? It's unhinged.
I've
Really?
never listened
It
to
is
it.
wild.
So like Amy and I are of similar age, and we have contemporaries, So I did a TikTok on them when it first happened, and I was very wired into what ABC was doing and how they had to approach it because they had the stain of Matt Lauer.
Yeah,
So they had to approach those two in a much different way. Who got thrown under the bus was Amy Robach.
Yes. Justice for Amy.
Yeah, they both had a
Really?
relationship. Their
Okay.
marriages were over. But TJ Holmes allegedly had a bit of a Matt Lauer problem. If one went down, the other went down with the ship. So that's what happened with those two.
And isn't one of their spouses now dating the other one's
Yes,
spouse?
Andrew Shue from Melrose.
Yes.
Stop it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're dating each
we're
other.
dishing now.
Right? So look at that.
We've spilled tea all over this desk.
Oh my God.
I didn't know that.
God,
Yeah.
I could
in a
do
way,
this
did it all
every
work
day.
out? It all worked out in the end, right? They've
I mean, if
Yeah.
everybody walks away happy, right? I don't know about their unhinged thing. I don't like partners who partner.
Right.
I don't
it's
like
complicated. And you know what? They don't like it either. Because you can tell
Right.
Amy gets so uncomfortable. Like I listen to her now. What is the opposite of almost hate listening? It's like empathetic,
Oh, yeah,
sympathetic
yeah,
listening.
yeah. And that's
cringe listening.
that's horrible. Yeah.
I just want to talk to her. But if, someone who I know who worked for an ABC affiliate is very, very good friends with her. And she said, would you like me to connect you with her? And part of me is dying to do it. But I've done some content on Amy Robach that she
No,
might
don't
say,
do it.
her? No, I'm not talking.
Oh.
I met Amy one time.
Yeah.
I was covering the Trump inauguration.
Yep.
And she was there. And she was actually lovely at the time. But of course, this was prior to all of this happening. And then subsequently.
Yeah.
It all kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah.
So, but she's a very, very nice person.
Yeah.
Okay, so now everybody in the world is just about done, but we have to talk about Travis and Taylor.
Trailer?
Yes.
We do call them trailer.
That's actually very good.
Well,
That's
you know
very
what?
good. I
Kathy
like
Griffin
that.
coined it. So we got to give credit where credit's due. But yes.
So what? First off, have they burned the candle at both ends too much, or what do you think? Overexposure?
Well, a lot of people comment on those two. And it's because I work in public relations, I work in crisis management, they became a point of conversation for me. So it brought in all the Swifties, into my account. And what I have contended from the beginning is, I look as a strategist, I always look at strategy and how they came together over the bracelet. It was her concert. Then we're coming right into the NFL season, the preseason, and then all of a sudden it percolates, and the Chiefs are hot. So I'm always looking at timing and the NFL behind it. So we both, I think, believe that, the relationship is real, but it's a PR relationship. It was put together for a mutual beneficial reason.
My theory right from the outset was that it was, in fact, a business deal between the NFL and the record label. It came right as the NFL season was starting. It just seemed too planned out. But now I'm kind of believing in the relationship.
Yes. Well, the relationship, you can do both.
I guess.
Yeah.
But do you think they saw it coming that it would work out this well?
I mean, they're both big enough stars, right? You're a Taylor Swift, you're a Travis Kelce. I think it's hard to date the average person, right? So I think that they both needed to be with someone with huge star power. And I think they seem both nice people, and they're kind of hitting it off. They seem to have similar values. And so a lot of times people will say to us, do you think this is a PR relationship through and through, something that someone can get papped and they can, get the Instagram post? And I think perhaps in the very beginning, but now I think
what
wedding
did
bells.
she have to gain from that?
Yeah.
Well, that she didn't need that.
That's
that
what
record
everyone
label
says to
doesn't
us.
need that.
Yes.
She had a new album coming out.
But she just had a concert, and still on a tour that was
an important
unmatched.
part of social media, the currency of it. Yes, it's sales and ticket sales, album sales, but it's really relevancy too. People talking about you, the engagement, and just being put up on a pedestal. The higher up you are, when something does happen, you don't fall quite as far, like when she's up there. So that's why. I mean, if you don't have it and no one's talking about you, you can fall fast.
Do you think she ever gets embarrassed by him?
Oh, definitely.
Yes. I do.
And you think there are discussions? Although it seems like they're melding together better now, because now they were at Coachella and, she's pounding a few drinks and, they're having fun. And I'm just wondering. And then they did the fundraising gala for Patrick Mahomes' charity foundation the other night. And he was significantly buzzed again.
Yes.
And went up on the stage and did the
but a little more controlled, would we say?
I would say a little more controlled. I'm sure she's
more.
like, we're going to dial it back. I mean, whose partner doesn't do something that you're like, okay, that's the one we got to let slide?
Well, that's true. Right. Yeah. But she also, if she really knew him and if her record label had researched him, I mean, he's known for this. He's a little bit.
So it could be bumpy. And I had said to Meredith too, when we were talking just before the show too, I said, I'm seeing a slight new narrative happening out there from tabloids, where there are photos now of her from the side. So I said, I think I'm going to predict that the pregnancy rumor marriage thing is going to start to stir up.
Well, there's a big bet now. Will he propose by September?
Yeah, and we said,
logistically that would be nice.
Right before the football season starts. Yeah, they'll just do it all over again.
I am telling you, if they get engaged before the football season, I am going to flip out, and this moment will never. I will remember this forever.
Kim, it will be timed.
I have a bet. I'm in on the bet.
Yeah, we are going over to Encore. We're laying some money down, my friend.
It's right down the street.
There's got to be a sports bet we can make related to that. You guys got a big show coming up here in Boston, and by the time obviously this is a podcast, so it stands for a long time. But so your show will have come and gone. But tell me about what you do in shows like this and what it's all about.
Yeah, so our show is called Damage Control. And basically, we're going to talk about all this kind of stuff and also let the audience get in on it. So who would you like to see uncanceled? Who is, the next PR crisis that you see coming? It's going to be really fun. It's sold out, so we're excited about that. And we're working on bringing it to other cities. And we're really just going to take our, Gen X and millennial and, vibes and come together for a fun night.
Now, when you come to a city, like, for instance, you come in Boston, do you kind of gear the conversation more toward local
Great question.
People?
We talked about that because we said, do we want to open with the Boston Hook? But a lot of people come from other places, and we know, like, we have fans that are everywhere that come to the show. Mm-hmm. I know some are coming from Canada as well. So we'll probably riff with the Boston, but we said, let's just do Boston celebrities who everyone knows.
Right.
Because we can't bring out the Globe and, talk about, Michelle Wu, but we can talk about Ben Affleck.
I was just going to say, Ben
we're
and J-Lo.
coming for you, J-Lo.
What's going on there?
J-Lo.
She's on our
radar big time.
Yeah.
Okay, so just give us a little preview. She's on your radar because you think she's disenchanted.
They're breaking
She's
up.
on your radar because
we both may, I don't know, have different opinions on this because we both do different content on J-Lo. I like looking at the psychology of people and why they do what they do. And I look at those two as a relationship. There's a lot of trauma bonding there. We all know about Ben Affleck. He's very open about addiction and his struggles.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Jennifer Lopez needs to come back into that. I mean, you all remember the first time around.
Oh, yeah.
In Cambridge, meeting the mother and everything. There's a lot of stress there. And when she came out with her biopic, on Amazon,
Oh my gosh.
and the album, and she's bombing left and right. So she's
flopped.
trying to recreate the '90s, and she can't. It's past.
Who isn't, though?
Yeah, but some
But
are
you
doing.
think
I
they're
don't know. I just
enjoying
recently
each
saw
other?
my hair.
Not at all. No.
I'm not recreating the 90s.
No.
But I think this is the thing that I think has really changed, and people don't always realize it, is that celebrities don't make the money they used to make.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, they hustle.
So do you think this is an issue for her?
I don't think it's an issue, but I think she's used to a certain standard and she expects to have that for the rest of her life. And so I think people do not underestimate how much people want to check to cash.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
I mean, what you've said to us here has led me to believe that I can't really believe in any celebrity relationship.
No.
It just feels like all of them are some kind of public relations move or moneymaker.
There's a lot
Is
of
that true?
strategy involved.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of strategy involved, but social media is also involved as well. And when that gets really involved, people tend to suss out. They get very suspicious and they call it out. Social media, they'll put the comments out there, and they have and reporters. They're on social media. That's how they get all their sources.
Do you guys know why Justin Bieber is weeping and crying and photo dumping?
When I walked through the comment yesterday, I did see some of the squirrels, and I was like, do you remember Justin?
Yes.
Remember when Justin...
And I went to that concert that night.
You did?
Yeah, that afternoon he was sitting in the tree on the
up in the
pond in the
tree.
public garden talking to squirrels, and then that night at his show, he lied down on the stage and took a nap. Obviously, he was lip syncing because his voice was still going through the garden. But I'm telling you, I think he's one of the most talented people on the planet.
Billy, it's lonely.
It is lonely, isn't it?
Right? But I think Justin, a lot of people think Justin and Haley are a PR relationship. I disagree. I think they really do love and care for each other.
She definitely does care for him a lot.
But I'm like, be nice to her, Justin.
Yeah.
Make life a little easier for her. Her dad's a little wild, so she could, give her a break.
And take a shower once in a while.
Yeah, a
I'm
shower
just
would be
saying.
nice.
No, he's into this new thing now.
I know.
Right? Am I lying?
Yeah. Well, when you are as famous as he was, as young as he was, this is what we always try to blame it on, right?
Yeah.
That's the excuse. Meredith, it's been great to see you. Molly, thank you so much in person. It's terrific. Continued success, ladies.
Thank you so
really
much
fun.
to both of you as well.
Yeah, this has been a
be
really
here.
good
Thank
time.
you.
I'm
City
glad-
Winery.
Woo!
There you go, City Winery. All right, this is Kerrigan and Company.
How did 4 blue-collar kids become one of the greatest success stories in pop music history? Find out at Jersey Boys, the Tony Award-winning musical about Frankie Valli and the 4 Seasons. Experience the true story musical phenomenon that takes you behind the scenes and behind the music. Jersey Boys is on stage at Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater now through May 19th only. Get your tickets today at nsmt.org.
Well, we want to wrap things up today. Of course, this is Kerrigan and Company, brought to us by A&B Burger. Billy Costa has been my co-host. This has been fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Really, you know what I love about this format, which is so different for me, and you are a little more used to it, but it's just sort of that free-flowing, like to chat with the ladies. You can just throw it out there. It doesn't matter.
Anything goes.
I know,
Yeah.
absolutely. I did cuss one time on a podcast here, and for a brief moment, I almost passed out into the floor.
Really? How bad a cuss was it?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Was
but
it an F cuss or an A cuss?
No, I did not do that.
Right.
But, it's just so strange because you can do that here. But, so we started the show talking a little bit about you and Kiss 108. Gosh, you've had such a great career there. Congratulations.
I've had some fun. Early on, I worked at Channel 4 for several years, Evening Magazine for a while, and, always thought about maybe, trying another market. But then I said, why would I? I like it here so much.
And it's a big market. There would be no reason to leave.
Yeah,
it just
and it's
offers
all
you so
worked
much.
out.
You bet. You've done television. You've got 2 TV shows going on right now.
Yeah, Jenny Johnson and I have Dining Playbook. Used to be TV Diner. We were on NECN. Actually, I started my food television career doing Phantom Gourmet, and then left there to start my own show, TV Diner. And then Jenny joined me several years into TV Diner, and then we moved it from NECN to NESN, which is now Dining Playbook, and we're celebrating our 10th year now with Dining Playbook. Super. And about 4 or 5 weeks ago, we launched a second show called Meet Boston, and it's really cool. It's very different. Several years ago, I had a dream about, maybe we could do a whole TV show just shot with cell phones. And this is pretty close to it. We've got like 10 or 12 influencers, content creators in various industries, so to speak. We have architecture, history, science, wellness, fitness, food, travel, and they're all good in their respective fields. And we let them shoot their segments, and Jenny and I kind of intersperse and kind of provide the thread between the segments. Sure. And and it's great. It's going well, and we're about to put out a cookbook, our first cookbook.
First off, let me say I'm shocked that this is your first cookbook because, you've been in that world of the foodies for such a long time. But this one's pretty cool, isn't it? Because you're bringing some of these chefs in.
Yeah, I was always afraid of the book thing because it felt like so much work. And it is.
And you were right.
Yeah, I was right. But I think it's going to be worth it. It's coming out in October. We've got, I think, 60 chefs and their stories and our stories with them historically and their favorite recipes. And it's called Taste of Boston.
That's awesome.
So we're looking for, I think it's coming out in October.
Can I tell you something? Jenny, you may not know this, but Jenny used to babysit my kids.
I think I did know that.
Yeah. And when Jenny was just that beautiful young woman before she got started with you, and still a beautiful young woman, she reached out to me and asked me if I knew you. And I said I did.
Wow.
And sent you an email and said, this young woman would like to speak to you.
Oh, my God. I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very proud. I am waiting for my royalties from Jenny, and I'm sure that's coming any minute as her former agent. But yeah.
And now
you
she
guys
and Rob, parents of 2 children.
I know. You guys have had a terrific stint together.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun together.
Okay, so the question I want to ask you, which was not part of our Fast Five, really, but this is a big, huge, gigantic career. Lots of lights, lots of microphones. There's got to be a point where you're done. You're finished. What do you do on the other side?
Yeah, I've thought about it, but I just really am having a lot of fun still. And what would I do? I don't golf. My only passion is boating.
Exactly.
And I'll get to that. I do a lot of it now, but I'll get to that in a larger way. But I really like what I'm doing. God, we just started another show. We're starting a cookbook, and who knows what's going to be next. 2 or 3 radio shows, 2 or 3 TV shows.
Well, I always just wonder, if you can turn the lights off and walk. I feel like that's a very hard thing to ever do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just wonder if you ever think about that and if there's
I worry
another
about
side.
Not having my brain be active. And in the business we're in, we're constantly thinking and constantly plotting and so forth, and I think it keeps you active and keeps you young. So, right now I don't even think about it yet. Yeah, I've got a pretty lengthy deal already with iHeart, and they want to extend it more. And who knows? Maybe down the road I'll be sticking with iHeart, sticking with the morning show, but doing it from a warmer climate.
Yeah, On a boat.
Well, I mean, we've got radio stations all over the country. Or from the boat. You're right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Straight from the boat. Billy Costa, it's been great. Of course, folks, you can catch him. You can catch him in so many places. But Kiss 108 in the morning, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's the Billy and Lisa show. Be sure you don't miss it. And from there, you can catch him in all different locations.
Dining Playbook on Nesson.
Continued success, my friend. It's been great to know you through these years in the marketplace, and I know that we'll continue to stay in touch.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. This is fun. This is a fun gig.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, everybody, thank you for being with Kerrigan and Company. It's been great to have you this week. Be sure that you follow us on social, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan and Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan and Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan and Company is David Thompson. Our engineer is Peter Hurley, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.
Yes, Kerrigan and Company.